Megapixels. Now, this may have been a word that you've encountered when looking at the latest trends, looking at the latest cameras, just looking at how crisp the pictures are coming out. But does a higher megapixel count matter when making great photographs? Let's talk about that. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Captain Giorgio, and today I felt like we should talk about another photography topic, this time about megapixels. So in order for us to understand what is a megapixel, we first should look into the word pixel. A pixel is the smallest controllable element of a picture represented on a screen. So what does that mean, right? Let's look at a photograph in greater detail. Let's zoom in here. Now you see that little tiny square? That is a pixel. And when a lot of them are come together, they display an image. So a megapixel consists of 1,000,000 pixels. Let's take a look at, for example, your modern TV. When you're trying to figure out how many pixels a standard TV has, you multiply the length and the width, right? You get your area, and that's how many pixels your standard TV has, right? So in terms of megapixels, how many do you think can be used to cover a 4K image? Here it is. Why would you ever need a camera that has a shooting range of 50 megapixels, right? Why would you need something like that? Well, if you're into real estate, architectural photography, landscape, macro photography, these are areas of focus in which I think having a higher megapixel camera count would be beneficial towards you. If you take 50 times 1,000,000, that's 50 million pixels, right? What are you gonna do with that? You could pretty much cover all of the TVs, right? 1080, 720, 4K, 2K, 8K, probably even. No, yeah, I think you can cover 8K. Even if you're off by a stop, if your speed is off by a bit, when you zoom in into that detail, it's gonna get noticed. And because of that, most of the times, you're gonna wanna end up using a tripod in your shots, doing macro photography, doing architecture, doing real estate, landscape. These are places where you would most likely want to use a tripod anyways. So that's why it's beneficial to use those kinds of cameras for that field. So why wouldn't you want something like this? Well, to begin with is the price tag. Getting a 50 megapixel camera is not exactly the cheapest. There was one that I was working with that was roughly, I think it was a Canon 5DS, and those go for about like $3,000. So pretty much like a used car. So I wouldn't, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't really recommend, getting yourself something of that price tag. You're trying to get action shots, something more high speed. You're gonna have a slower bandwidth when it comes to processing your image from the camera to the memory card, because it's just so much data that the camera has to process. Now, the golden question is, does a higher megapixel count camera make great photography? Well, in my opinion, generally, as a photographer, story should come first. And note that there has been great photography done with less megapixels. Getting yourself a higher megapixel count camera shouldn't discourage you from your usual day iPhone or your standard T5i kind of trip camera, because these cameras can do the exact same job as a 50 megapixel higher density pixel camera. But at the end of the day, you can accomplish these kinds of goals with much more affordable cameras. Heck, even your iPhone. And that's pretty much something I want to tell you guys about, because I know I get asked a lot by my friends, by the people I know, about like, hey, should I, I'm starting into photography and should I get a higher megapixel camera? And that's usually a tough question because I don't really know their ideals. But if this is a field they want to try out and then it turns out that they don't like it, then they're already down like $3,000, and that's just for the body for a camera like this, right? You're not talking about lens, SD cards, equipment, bags, all that other stuff. So yeah, usually a lot of good photographs can even come from an iPhone. That's the truth. So yeah, I hope you stay safe indoors. Check out my Instagram if you want to check out some of my photographs that I've done, not with a 50 megapixel camera. Practice safe guidelines, practice distancing, and remember to always stay creative. All right, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.